Today, a brand new pick and roll ball handler money play, and it is called Fist Pistol 4-5. It has the katana, it has a pick and roll, and it's a beautiful isolation. And yes, it is from the Atlanta Hawks playbook. So for those of you on my team, pick that up right now. Don't watch, pick it up first, then watch. Anyway, so you can see from the initial action here, this is the katana of the play, but this play is extremely versatile and it does a very good job of masking its own actions. So not only does it have a katana, it also has a pick and roll ball screen action along the elbow if the katana does not work. And yup, Kawhi landed with the claws. And it's not just the attack that you will get from this pick and roll, there's also plenty of options out of this that I'll discuss later. And in the end, maybe most interesting of all, this play has a hidden isolation that you can attack with the ball handle that you call the play from. This aspect of it is nasty. So without further delay, let's take a look at the anatomy of the play, so how you run it on its basic level. So you see here, I have called a play for Kawhi. But if you call it for the player, he actually does not start the play. An opposite wing player or your point guard will start it, depending on if you call it for a small forward, shooting guard, or the point guard. But it goes back to the player you call for, and you can see this is the initial option, the katana. I'll discuss the options later. But yeah, so here I have called it for Teague, but Corver gets to run the katana. So whoever you call the play for does not run the katana, okay? The opposite wing player will do, or the point guard if you call it for a wing. Make sure you understand that concept. Now this play on its own is a dual option set. So let's take a look at option number 1. The katana cut, where you hold down the X button while you pass and then cut through. So here, we call it for Teague. Corver starts to play. Corver gets the easy katana by going around Teague. Now pay attention though, this cut actually takes a little bit of timing. Here, I call the play for Kawhi. So it starts out with Tony Parker's hands. Tony Parker is going to give it to Kawhi. I'm going to hold down X, cut around Kawhi, but this is not the best pass or timing of the cut. You see Al Horford almost stole that. It is because I went too early. Take a look at it here again. Once again, I went too early and Paul Millsap almost got it, alright? Because the big comes up to set the pick, what you want to do is you want to wait, pass, and wait till the big takes a couple of steps, then cut. You see, if you do that, the defense is going to guard that pick and roll. So that's how you get them. Take a look at slow motion. This time I had Baseball bring up the ball because he's more athletic, so it makes sense. I had Baseball bring it up. I'm calling it for Teague, so I know Baseball is going to do the katana cut. Now watch. I'm going to wait for Musa to take a couple of steps, then I go. Alright? Make sure the big takes a couple of steps towards the ball handler, then you begin the katana cut with full turbo. Do it like that, you will get the space you need for the easy pass and finish. Now obviously, the katana cut not going to work all the time. So the option number 2 is, if the cut doesn't work, you get a ball screen around the free throw line extended area. Okay? So take a look. I've called a play for Teague. He's going to bring it up. He's going to give the Corver. And he's going to go to that side on its own. Now, Corver is going to get it to Teague. And I'm going to cut around with Corver. Corver being a bit slow. Katana cut didn't work. I'm going to give it with Corver, give it back to Teague. Then I run that kind of free throw line extended pick and roll. That's nasty right there. Here I have Kawhi with the ball. I'm going to kick it to Tony. I called a play for Kawhi. So we're going to work the play. Back to Kawhi. Tony's going to cut around. Great defense by Teague. I got stuck. Nothing. But you can see, pick and roll. LaMarcus pops. So you must be wondering, hey, LaMarcus pop, how do I control that? Well, you can't. That wing ball screen is a dynamic read. So depending on the player who is setting you the screen, that player's tendencies is going to take over. So he's either going to pop or roll. So you have to read and react and make that read yourself. LaMarcus tends to pop more than he rolls. So you can see it again here, he pops. But because of the nice spacing, I got an isolation post up, spin, turn around, fade away. Beautiful post move. And in this instance, I've called it for Kawhi and it's going to be LaMarcus on the wing screen again. The katana cut didn't work, but this time, LaMarcus actually dives. So that's the dynamic read I'm talking about. You have to read if LaMarcus is going to pick and roll or pick and fade. That's up to him, so make that read. And you see, if he dives, it really opens up the shooter. So katana cut didn't work. Paul Millsap is also going to dive in. And you can see when he rolls in, it sucks in the defense. That wing player opens up. And because it's Kyle Korver, clean release swish ball. So this roll aspect of it is really important because it does open up a lot of shots on the side, right, with the wing players. And the katana cut will not work if you get a slow guy, so it didn't work with Horford there. Horford dives. This time we go to the opposite wing because we got the ball to the roll man on the dive. Beautiful. You can see it here this time. We're going to run it with the Spurs. We brought the ball up with Tony. We call the play for Kawhi. It's going to go to Kawhi on the wing like that. Tony katana cuts nothing. LaMarcus this time, he is going to dive in, which opens up the opposite post of our other big man Duncan on a mismatch. So that's great. The movement of the play causes all the mismatch in the post. Take advantage of that. And here, we're calling for Teague. Teague goes to Corver. Corver goes back to Teague. Very good ball movement action. Cuts around nothing. We get the ball. And this I'm going to kick it to Horford because they're hard trapped. So that's a read you have to make. Sometimes you can just dump the ball to the big man's second screen. If they trap you, there's an easy slip for an easy dunk. And it's not just that, right? So it's not just a pick and roll, it's not just a pick and fade. You can also get it to your big man early and change up the offense. This time you can see me again get into the big man early, but I'm going to flush Kawhi Leonard as a counter. The defense is not ready for this. Easy dunk. Alright, so those are the two duo options, but here's the advanced execution of the play. Alright, so make sure you understand those options first before attempting this advanced execution, which is going to take a lot more basketball skills and pacing. You need to be good at the game to be able to execute this fast enough, right? Because it's a 24-second shot clock. So, review. And for the new players, also check out the beginners playlist guide I left on the top of the screen. So that's going to help you out in terms of these advanced execution sets. So the advanced execution itself is going to be a pick and roll ball handler ISO. Now take a look. I'm calling the play for Kawhi here, but I actually have Kawhi bring up the ball. If you do this and you go to the spot Kawhi should have been going to with the play, you get this really nice isolation spacing on the side. So if you see a mismatch that I did, like I did here with Teague and Kawhi, I'm just going to do that. Same thing, I have Kawhi have the ball. The player I'm calling the play for starts with the ball. So you can get this isolation spacing, a blow by Horford, easy foul, free throws, and nice points. So in order to trigger this advanced ISO, you need to understand the player you want to call if it's pistol 454 has to be the guy that brings up the ball. You see here, we get it to Kawhi, and I'm not running the play. I'm not giving it back to Tony Parker. So that would actually work also. If he doesn't bring up the ball, you can also just get it to him early and make sure you don't give it back to Tony Parker. If you get it to him early before the play triggers, nobody will move, and you end up with this really nice isolation. Same thing, Teague brings up the ball. I'm not giving it to Corver, so I get this isolation spacing, and we destroy Tony Parker with it. That is very nice. This isolation is going to be key to a lot of you who like to ISO, but obviously isolation will not work all the time. So if it doesn't work, you can access the other options I just showed you earlier. So in this case, we're going to go back to option 1, and we're going to use the katana cut. So watch, I bring it up with Teague. I'm not going to get the ball to Corver. I'm going to try a little bit of the isolation first. Danny Green, good defender, not working. So I make the quick read, I give it up, and now we're back to the katana options. That is beautiful stuff. Now, but this is what makes the play advanced. Because you're going to attack out of isolation first to see if you can take advantage of anything. If you have LeBron, it's always an advantage, or like KD. But if it's not working, you're going to make the read very quickly. Because you can't waste too much time. You see, I'm running out of clock here because I started to play slowly. So this is advanced execution because you're going to make quick passes, quick reads. The moment you realize the isolation is not working, you better go straight into the play quickly. So you see Horford is locking up Kawhi there. So I just go right back and start the play up. The clock will be winding down by now if you start off with the isolation advanced option. It is a great option, but it does take more time. So you see here again, I'm starting off with the advanced isolation option. I'm at 14 seconds in the shot clock, so that's not too bad. So that was great management on my part. I still have enough time left to run the cut or the pick and roll, pick and fade option if I need to. So that's something you must keep in mind. The isolation spacing is great, especially if you're calling it for a star like Diamond Kobe, Paul Pierce, or like Amethyst Durant. All of that will work great, but make sure you have time clock management in mind if you start off with the ISO. Now obviously you don't have to start off the ISO if you don't want to, but I suggest you do it just to keep the defense guessing. And here you can see me mixing in the isolation option with also option number 2, the ball handler ball screen. So this will take the most clock. If you run fist pistol 4-5 this way, this will take most of the clock away, so you can't go to anything else. But the intentions are nice. You start out with an ISO. If it doesn't work, you go to the player up top, you run the katana cut. If that doesn't work, you run the wing pick and roll. You see here, I still got about 6 seconds left to run this, which is more than enough time, really, to run a pick and roll or pick and fade around the free throw line extended area. But you gotta keep a good spacing, good pacing also. Pace and space. And for those of you wondering what the freelance is here, you can use pace motion, warriors motion, or swing motion. Doesn't matter too much with this play. It's very versatile, but I suggest pace. I think pace is better. So you see here, the ISO didn't work. I'm running all of the options again, extra pass. So now the clock is dwindling down, but I still got the roll. I was still able to finish in 23.5 seconds. But this is me we're talking about, and I invented this. So if it's running out of time for me, for a lot of you who is trying this for the first time, if you're trying to start up with the ISO and go all the way to the pick and roll option, you might run out of clock. But you just gotta practice and try to get it all finished in about 22 seconds, which is possible, as you can see I'm doing here. Even though they shut off the pick and roll, I was still able to find something out of pace here, and I got alpha for the easy dunk, once again with the clock winding down. This advanced isolation option is very nice. I suggest all of you to at least attempt to start the play this way. You don't always have to. You can also start off with just the wing player or the guard bringing the ball to the middle. That will save you a lot of time. But this isolation aspect is awesome, and especially for those of you who are very strong isolation players, you're gonna love this. I mean, you got a nice ISO, and it goes into a very nice Sam Pham kind of style offense money play after that. So that is why I think this is one of my favorite plays all year long, because it started off with that isolation aspect. So as always, thanks for coming by. You can check this out yourself. And for the new players who are struggling with just how to call plays or anything like that, or how to insert playbooks, if you are, leave it in the comment section and let me know. I can make a separate video teaching the newer players just how to run plays and how to access options. I know some of the veteran players would be like, oh, I don't need to know that. But actually, if I do make that video, I'll probably also teach you guys how to do it very, very fast. For some of you who have seen me set up my freelance or have seen me set up my playbooks, I do it really quickly. I don't waste any time in-game, and I don't waste any time out of the game. So I can keep that 2-minute online clock not at 0, and I get an auto loss. Alright, so if you enjoyed this play, let me know. And new players, if you got new player types of questions, leave it in the comment section. So I'll know what you guys are looking for in terms of new players. And veteran players, take this online and let me know how you do. Alright? And there will still be at least 4 more money plays coming from the Hawks playbook, so keep an eye out for all of that. And all of it will have some sort of katana action in it. I think this katana action has become a staple for my 2K game, so from now on you'll always see me do it if it's in a money play. So yeah, we're gonna get nasty. The other katana cut already got us all those wins. Imagine if I just keep doing this forever for every money play. Alright, as always, thanks for coming by. Enjoy your weekend. Really great defensive tutorial coming tomorrow that's going to show you how to avoid crazy AI help from the sides. You guys know what I'm talking about. Alright, I'll see all of you next time.